I have a question.
What you got?
Parker,
Yes,
you want to hear about Gorr the God Butcher?
I do.
All right. Let's do this. To know about Gorr the God Butcher, you got to start a little bit. Well, the comic is really a Thor comic. There's no Gorr comic, right? There's no
What's the comic called?
The comic is called. It's a run
Okay.
called Thor God of Thunder. Okay.
Okay.
And as a very quick background, this takes place over 3 different timelines. I'm gonna give that to you now because I'm gonna have to switch between them and like reorient you. Okay.
So this is like a Christopher Nolan-esque comic.
Kind of. I mean, like it's a culmination type thing. You know, you have to understand the different parts of his life to know like what's going on.
What we're going to do is we're going to start in the middle, and then we're going to go to the beginning, and then we're going to go to the end.
It does start at the beginning, and then go to the middle, and then go to the end, but then it starts jumping. For the sake of making life easy for everyone, I'm going to tell it piece by piece. So
Okay.
let's start. It's the year 893. Like Thor is like hanging out.
AD or BC?
AD.
Okay.
AD. And Thor is like hanging out with Vikings off the coast of Iceland. And he's like they're regaling about this story about how like this frost giant is eating their sheep, and they just killed it. And then it shows like the outside of the longhouse, and there's a giant's head on a spit, and they're just like having fun, drinking, being Vikings,
Reveling after a battle.
Oh yeah, baby, telling the stories.
They killed a frost giant.
They killed a frost giant because they have Thor with them. Normal Vikings ain't doing that, but Thor is hanging out with Vikings, right? He's young.
He's one of the boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's great. It's actually a very fun Thor to read because he's like so different than the mighty Thor we know from comics now. I mean, sorry,
He's less
from
holy
movies.
than thou.
Oh, less holier than... No, he's over the top holier than thou. Like, I'm such a big deal. I'm Thor.
Okay.
Do you know who I am?
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, huge chip.
Smaller chip on his shoulder later.
Yes, for sure. I mean, there's a chip on his shoulder kind of a little bit always until he really gets it. But this is like... We're talking like Atlas holding the globe on his shoulder.
Yeah.
On his
Okay,
shoulder.
okay.
So, and then we go to someone like yells or someone says something outside and everyone runs out. Hey, what's going on? The commotion. And they show some water and there's blood in the water. Like, oh, what's going on here? Blood in the water. And someone got killed in the water, whatever it is. And then there's a head at the beach of water, just a head decapitated. And
like it's washed up on shore or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And you see it, and it's like got a look of horror in its eyes, like it died, like, screaming. And this kind of like elder shamany woman picks it up, and she goes, "This is not a normal head. What do you see when you look in its eyes, Thor?" And Thor's like, "Those are God eyes." Like, whoa. And
You
just
ever seen a god's
yeah,
eyes?
yeah. Have you seen a God's eyes? Look at mine.
They got lifeless eyes.
Yeah, well, not exactly. But
Well, this
Thor
one does.
This one does have lifeless eyes for sure. So Thor is like, digital orientation on this. This god looks a little bit different. So he's got like a funny looking haircut. It's like short in some places, long in some places. There's feathers in his hair. People are like, oh, the feathered people. I've seen these.
Is it Steven
before.
Tyler?
It's Steven Tyler. Oh my God, you got
Aerosmith?
it. That's it. So the Vikings are like,
Does he look like a lady? Does the dude look like
looks
a lady?
It kind of does. The haircut's interesting.
Okay.
No, it looks like it. I mean,
It looks like a dude.
it looks like a dude.
We'll pull the panel up.
Yeah, I can pull that panel up, but it's not pretty. It's a head. It's a decapitated head.
We're pulling a censored, blurred panel up.
Yeah, sure. Censor the part where it's cut off.
Just to censor everything about it. Or
Yeah,
like Photoshop
just the eyes.
I'm going to Photoshop a body onto it, just like a buff body.
Yeah, that works. Works perfect. So this is like a guy with a funny haircut. He's not blonde or like light brown haired like you'd think the Scandinavian area would be, right?
Right.
And he's got feathers in his hair. And the Vikings go, oh, the feathered haired people. I've seen them when I cross the ocean. And,
Ooh.
and you get the idea
These
that
are Native Americans.
this is a Native American god.
Nice.
Right? So
well, not nice. It sucks that he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
It's cool that other pantheons are out there.
Oh, don't even get me started. Oh, well, I'll get to you in a second. So, Thor's like, he's like, yeah, that's a god. Well, that god didn't have Asgardian steel. Kind of trying to make light of it to make no one freaked out about that a god out there because people are freaked out a little bit.
It's just some lot banter.
Yeah, exactly. He just got this smirk on his face. He's got his big axe in his hand. This is pre-Mjolnir Thor.
Oh.
He's
not worthy yet?
No. And you can tell he's not worthy. You know that.
You can't crack jokes around a decapitated head. That's not a very worthy thing to do.
No way.
No way.
It's
Get
not
real.
that important, but the axe has a name. It's like Bjorn or something like that. They always get names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone starts walking back in. He's chilled everyone out a little bit, but he looks back and he looks concerned. You could tell Thor's like, oh, who did that? Good. We're going to cut now to present time Thor, the Thor that we know, the mighty Thor, the Avenger. And they point out a couple times like, oh, this is Thor the Avenger, right? So we're not exactly on him yet. We have like this this shot from space where you just see like a planet and some stars, and Thor is narrating. He goes, I hear the prayer from miles away, and I know I need to come, or from like light years away, whatever it is. I know I need to come. And then it's like a little narration of someone saying like, hey, we're the last of our people. It hasn't rained on my planet for years and years and years, and when it doesn't rain soon, we're probably the last of our race, And I've heard of you, Thor, because different people have come through the spaceways and talked about you being the best god there ever was. And you can imagine Thor's name is big, how Marvel Comics, the movies, like people have heard about Thor outside of Earth, right? So she's like, all right, this is kind of like my last ditch effort. Like, if you could please come help me, that'd be great. And you get this great panel of Thor like landing on this planet, with a storm behind him, and he goes, on this day, no one will die. And he says, I carve, what are these things called? Grand Canyon. That's the word I was looking for. I carve canyons and fill them with water. I bring storms that this earth has never seen before. I get the rivers moving again. Like he does his job,
right?
And make sure this planet is like, okay, you're good. You got water now. And he comes to the little girl who was praying, and you can't really tell it's a little girl. He says little girl to her. It's just like a bald blue person. The planet's Indigar. He's like, young girl, how come you were praying to me? Like, of course I'll help you. I'm here for you. But like, where's your gods? And she's like, oh, they're not here. We don't have gods. And he's like, doesn't sound right. But anyway, you guys are good now. I'm going to leave, right? I'm like, no, hang out with us. You just saved our lives. He's like, I got stuff to do, Avenger stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I bet you've never had, rockworm spit ale like we make here. And he's like, well, ale? Did you say ale?
So you still got a little bit of that.
He's still got a little bit of that
childhood,
I mean, it's ale.
Give me a $10 word for like that attitude.
He's got a nascent viewpoint.
I'll give you $5 for that.
Nascency?
Yeah, I'll give you $5.
Young and undeveloped.
Yeah,
or, yeah.
I wanted something with an Asius in it.
Young Asius.
Thank you. Perfect.
So he's gonna stay, and he starts telling stories about all the things he does to like cheer people up, because clearly that they're on their last ditches. Though he's helped them out, and he's telling stories about chariots pulled by unicorns and the Rainbow Bridge and killing frost giants and thunder giants, and he makes them all happy. The kids go to bed, and the adults or the elders are like, "Thank you for doing that. Really helpful." They love fairy tales, and he's like, "What did you say?" They love fairy tales. All these stories. I know it's not real, but it helps him put to bed. He like grabs the guy's arm, like, "Don't you dare," because the guy legit thinks that these are fake because he doesn't have gods. Like
the gods aren't helping him.
The gods aren't helping him, exactly. And Thor's like, no, those are real stories. It's kind of like a tense moment, but they're like, okay, sorry, I thought it was fake because it doesn't
de-escalate the situation.
Exactly. So he's like, all right, fine. There is no planet. It just doesn't exist where they don't have some sort of pantheon. Right. It's not true. So he flies into the sky, or throws himself via his hammer into the sky, and he's like talking to himself like, this doesn't happen. There's no way it doesn't happen. And as you pull up to a scene, he goes, turns out I'm right. And there's a big castle in the sky, not your typical like English castle looking thing, but like an alien looking castle, right? So he's like, all right, this is it, so let me just go investigate. So he's going around the different halls, and it's just empty, quiet. And he finds a storehouse of riches and statues and all these things. And he's finding statues of what these gods should look like, and made beds, and he's just going around, and he's like, what is going on? Where is everyone?
So the maid has still been coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
It's Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay.
Because you want it nice for the weekend, right?
That makes sense. Yeah, you could dirty up your house on Friday pretty easily.
Yeah, so easy. So easy.
So she just comes in the mornings, but clearly she's not like, they must be out of town. She just lets herself in, cleans up, lets herself out.
Yeah, I mean, she still wants to get paid, and they have like an account set up.
Direct deposit.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Naturally.
So he checks the whole place out. No one's there. No one.
Not even the maid.
Not even the maid.
Is it Thursday?
It's Friday.
Where the hell is she?
That's the weird part.
Okay.
Right? So he's just like, all right, I guess they're gone. I don't know what's going on. He's about to leave, and he looks, and he sees like some sort of just like, I know I used the word storehouse before, but it's only the word I can think of. Like just like a store. Like he says like, I would ignore it normally, but there's chains on the door. So let me go investigate it. Black chains, to be specific. So he takes Mjolnir, smashes the chains, opens the door, and the second the door opens, he goes, the second that the door opened, I knew. And the stench was more than I could bear. And we cut to a panel where there's just like a couple gods hung up on meat hooks.
Ooh.
And we'll get that panel up. Oh, we may have to blur it.
Explicit warning.
Explicit warning. Panel. Yeah. And you're like, whoa! All the gods are dead. Now he's going through here and finding just gods in different places. Same looks on basically half of their faces. Just like that dismayed, like agonizing scream. And he's like, what is going on? What is this? And just as he's about to leave, he's attacked by like a black demon dog, and he starts getting in a fight with it. And then we'll cut away. Now we move to our third Thor. This is Old Man Thor. So they give you a timeline on this again. I said 893 for the young Thor. This is like millennia later. They don't give you exact time. They're just like thousands and thousands of years in the future.
Some esoteric amount of time has passed.
So much, right? And this is like an old Thor. Big, long white beard. Long white hair. And he's got the Odin look. He's got a patch over the eye. And he's missing an arm, and it's replaced by the Destroyer's arm. Do you remember the first Thor movie? The big metal thing that like shoots the laser beam out of his face?
Yeah. The indestructible thing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Colossus, if you've ever...
Yeah, but like with spikes and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Spikes on the edge. Kind of like Batman things, right?
Excuse me, I seem to have been missing an arm. I will take it from this statue here. There we are.
Sure. It's Thor. At this point,
he's sitting on a throne, so he's like the king of Asgard or something.
So he is the Allfather at this point. It's Thor the Allfather instead of Odin.
So Odin's dead.
Yes, that's what would make him replace him.
Okay,
I think, pretty sure at least.
There's no like retirement plan for Asgard.
No way. 401k. Are you kidding me? 401k?
Yeah,
you're a god. Your life is a 401k. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes zero sense.
So he's sitting on the throne.
Stop spreading misinformation. Go ahead.
That's me. Spread misinformation here and there, willy-nilly. So he's sitting on the throne. And he's, again, inner monologue. He's just talking to himself, saying like, this is it. I failed. All the gods are gone. All the gods are gone. In Asgard, at least he's talking about. Empty halls. It's just me sitting here. And you're like, what is going on? What
he's the last one left?
Yeah, he's the last one left in an empty hall.
Ooh.
So he's kind of like, what am I doing sitting here? I got to do something. I'm going to go out like a god at least. Walks to the doors. Mjolnir flies to his hand. He opens the doors and shouting, and they give you a shot from the back of him with the doors opening and like a sea of those black demon dogs. You're like, ooh. Yeah. What?
But he's got Odin's power. He's like full god now, right?
Well, enough black demon dogs will do it,
Okay.
It's action economy.
Just sheer
really.
Numbers. Yeah. It's a D&D reference for those of you who don't know.
Nerds be nerds. Yeah. That's what we do. All right. So it's 893 again. We got Thor hanging out with the Vikings. And they're on their long ships, heave-hoing, rowing. And it's starting to get foggy. And they're like, oh, fog. I can't see through the fog. And Thor, again, Mr. Young Hotshot, he's like, you've got the eyes of a god. I can see through this fog, no problem.
You don't have the eyes of a god.
No, he's saying I have them. I can see.
He's like, you're talking himself up. You is him.
No, he's telling the Vikings, I've got the eyes of a god.
Oh.
I'll lead you through. Keep rowing. Because he's just like bloodthirsty. He's like, let's go. We're going to a place. You get the idea. They're going somewhere to do the Viking thing. Pillage, right?
Yeah.
And fight.
Hence the not being worthy aspect.
Yeah. But it all shapes them in the end, right?
Yeah.
Our life shapes us, I used to put firecrackers in people's, what's it called, garbage cans, the metal ones specifically, and put it on their front step. But that taught me things. I'm the better person I am now because I did that dumb stuff when I was a kid.
I don't feel like that's right.
I was just trying to give some sort of example.
All right.
Thor's cooler than me. I just did firecrackers. He just killed people.
Yeah. He destroyed entire families.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done that. All right, Thor's cooler than me. End of story.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so they're on the Baltic Sea, and they're going. It's fog, and Thor's like, no, I can see through it. Fine. Don't worry. Keep going. Keep going. And we have our first cut to Gorr. Now, no one knows really who Gorr is yet, but you see that this is like someone out on the water. You get like a little shot of it. He's like this gray and black being, big long black cloak. And he's looking at the ship. And he says, I smell god flesh. Bring me to your kin.
Do gods have worse BO?
Listen, man, it just sounds cool.
Okay.
God flesh. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Do Englishmen smell like something?
Yes.
No?
Vinegar.
All right, fine, man. We're just lost the English audience right there.
Well, they know they smell like vinegar. They eat a lot of fish and chips.
With a little vinegar on it, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's delicious. I wish I smelled like vinegar all the time.
You know what? Honestly, I could go for that right now. Can we take a break and just order some fish and chips?
All right, start a break, guys.
So we're back. I smell god flesh. Cool. Now we got the Vikings and Thor on an open tundra, and they're like shouting at someone, and you see that it's a shouting between the Vikings and they're calling them it's the Slavs. Okay, so they're like in Eastern Europe, like the European side of Russia, just out in the tundra shouting at each other, and they're like, yeah, we got Thor, and the Slavs are like, our gods are coming, you just wait. Perun and Chernobog the Black will be here any minute. And Thor's like, yeah, whatever. This is what I'm here for. Let's do this. I'm excited, right? He's like, I don't really care about these guys. I kill them all.
Perun and Chernobyl. Thor versus a nuclear reactor.
Exactly. He could take it. He's got it. He's getting excited. And they're like, oh, here they come. And they point to the sky. And you see a pure white Pegasus with blood splattered all over it. Kind of like rearing up in the, that motion. You're like, whoa, what is going on?
This Perun guy seems awesome.
Well, the Perun guy is gonzo. Gone. Thor's like, what? I came here to fight gods. I'm not here to...
Not a bloody Pegasus.
Yeah, I'm not here to... Is that an English term? A bloody Pegasus or a bloody Pegasus? Both at the same time?
Yeah, both.
I'm not here to fight a bloody Pegasus in both meanings. So he's like, all right, what's going on? I'm here to fight a god. I didn't come to fight these people. Mm-hmm. So he jumps on the Pegasus and starts flying into the sky. And as he's going up, he's like, there's the other one. There's a black Pegasus with a person riding it. And as they pass each other in the airways, you see that the person riding the black Pegasus, headless. Ooh, and hit the mic. So as Thor gets on the Pegasus, he's like, what's going on? I want to get up here. I want to get into the fight. Someone's killing gods. I want to be part of this fight.
It sounds awesome. He sounds like a total Chad.
Oh, he's a total Chad, but it's great. It's so fun to like this Thor. You don't see too much, I don't, Devil May Cry. I don't care about anything.
Just
I'm
like very traditional Norse Thor.
Very traditional Norse Thor. It's very fun. So he's flying up on the white Pegasus, just hops on it, and it's like, I can do this, no problem. And as he's flying up, he says, there he is. There's the one on the black horse, right? Black Pegasus. So as they start getting close, they're passing each other in the airways, and you see the one coming down, the god on top of it is headless.
He's a headless horseman.
No, he's just dead.
That still means he's still a headless horseman.
You're right about that. He's a headless Pegasusman.
Dang it, I was wrong again.
It's a rough life you got, man. So now Thor
is really
like,
sucks being
what
a
is
friend.
going on? What is happening? That's got to be very frightening. Not frightening, but like jarring to him, right? You've seen the dead Native American god. Now, just no body on top of this white Pegasus with blood all over it. And then a third person or god going by headless on a black Pegasus. He's like, what is going on? And now we really get Gorr. So he meets him. Thor's looking down. He's coming, turning, seeing this thing. And then, whew, boom, Gorr's right in front of him.
Is he flying?
Yes. Just up in the air. And you see a black blade form on his hand. It's kind of like an Icarus type thing. It just forms. And it slops the head off of the Pegasus. Thor's like, oh, this is not good. He's falling. Thor, being the badass he is, falls, drops onto the black Pegasus, rides back up, and starts fighting him. Now, I don't need to talk about this fight because it's a fight scene, but it's just not going well for Thor. He's getting picked apart, and you're like, whoa, Thor should be,
holding his own.
Holding his own, right? We know Thor of the present, can kick pretty much anyone's tush.
Yeah,
right?
super strong, right?
Whoa, what's going to happen here, right? And it starts not going well, and Gorr is just taunting him. He's like, oh, gods of war, gods of axes, gods of ale, gods of pillaging, I've killed them all. This is just another day in the park for me, Look at you, puny little god. What are you the god of? And Thor is on his last wits, he's got bloodied face and, face is swelling and black eye and stuff. And he goes, thunder. And boom, big crash of lightning comes down between them. They get blown apart. So you get that kind of cool scene from Ragnarok. You remember, right?
With Hela.
Yeah,
where she's
that's
like,
definitely the inspiration.
What are you the god of?
Yeah.
And then, or what he's like, are you the god of hammers? And boom.
Yeah, exactly. So a really cool panel. We'll probably show it. It's just like it's a lightning strike with two people flying either way. You know. So that's where we end with this one. We stop there. Now we're moving towards the present Thor that we know, right? So after being in this palace in the sky, he's like, what is going on? Like, I got to figure this out. So he flies again into space, and he comes to this place called Omnipotence City. And this is like the city hall of gods. Like, gods come here to get tried. Gods come here to get married. They got a library with all the data forever on gods. And it was basically, they say it was like meant to be this place where like they can meet and share information and help creation, help the world. You know, or help all universes, right?
Right.
Because that's ultimately their job. They're gods.
But it's only for gods?
Yes. Yeah.
It's just gods. It's like God Twitter.
Yeah, God Twitter, just like that. So, but the idea, I mean, gods are supposed to help people, right? It's their catalog and information, and if a god is bad, they go on trial, right? So the judgment gods will try, whatever, right? So Thor is there for the library. And there's this really great little scene or bit between the librarian, which is like old, bent, like just crotchety fairy. So he's got these pretty gossamer fairy wings, but he's like a long white beard and just like wrinkles all over his face because he just looks angry. He's like, oh, Thor, God of Thunder. Didn't think I'd see you at the library. Didn't think you were much of a reader. And it's just like that.
Just
roasting him. Just roasting him over and over. And I didn't picture you to be here doing any reading. Last time you were here, you were flogging my hindquarters as a child. Just ripping him the whole time. And it's very funny, but Thor's like, okay, yeah, listen, hey, some gods have been missing apparently. Do you have a place where there's like information on gods who haven't like shown up, to court in a while? I guess I'd say, who
haven't posted on Twitter.
Yeah, they haven't posted on Twitter, or they got their summons to be on the jury and they haven't showed up. Right?
They got jury duty.
I think I charged dirty and just
like Vishnu and
exactly,
and like Loki,
Jesus, right? I mean, these are all gods. I don't know if you count Jesus as a god, but God, the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. I mean, anything like that, anything you can think of that's a god, right? There's like gods,
pantheon.
Exactly, there's gods all over Earth, right? You've got apparently Slavic gods, we got Norse mythology gods, we got Greek gods, Mayans or Aztecs. I don't know the correct term for it, but there. I mean, like there's stuff everywhere, right?
Right.
So. The librarian leads him to a place they call the Hall of the Lost, and it's like a huge library of missing people. And Thor's like, "What? All of these people are missing?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, "All right, I guess I'll just get started." So I'll give you like fun panels to put up to just like show the progression. But basically, Thor starts like from far back and moves forward. So he's like, "All right, 2,000 years. This guy hasn't shown up. Let's find out where these people are." They're like gods of the forest. They live on this pretty planet that's basically all forest, and they're supposed to be like some super, nature gods, right? He gets there, and he sees they're just like nailed to a tree. You're like, what? What the heck is going on?
Jeez.
Again, a berserker dog. Fights it off, goes to the next planet. Next planet's like a fairy planet, right? And he's like, it rains honey, and the rivers are made of milk. And, the land is made of angel food cake. Like it's like this pretty place.
Jeez, the caloric intake, man. How does everyone
fairies,
not just like die
they're
of
fairies.
insulin shock?
It's like Buddy, This is the four main food groups. Candy corn.
Candy canes, candy corn, and syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like that for them. They don't, that's their life. And the shot is like dead fairies with their like face in like the ground in like rivers and, like emaciated unicorns. And Thor's like, all right, so I guess he's got, like, he doesn't care. It's not just, like, tough gods. He's just killing everyone. Like, what is this? And it's, like, just planet after planet, making the time closer and closer and closer.
So he's, like, piecing together this is Gorr?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's someone at this point,
and
right?
there's a guy who was bragging about killing gods 2,000 years earlier.
Yes,
or 1,200 years earlier,
it's been about
whatever.
1,200 years, but he hasn't thought about that in a while. And we'll get to why he hasn't thought about it in a while. So, yeah, like this, like, rock gods and like, many armed, like Vishnu type looking gods. And then it even cuts to this thing that's very recent. So it's like this big, giant, white, dog-looking behemoth of a god. And this is the one that really hits Thor because, like, everything else was, like, normal size, like gods. But this thing is huge. Like, Thor looks like an ant compared to how big this thing is, right? And it hits home even more because he's like, I knew this god. This god,
Dude, that's Derek.
like literally like that. He's like, I knew this god. This god had won the intergalactic or interstellar, wrestling tournament for the
He
past.
helped me move my couch.
Exactly, he moved his couch to me. So he's like, he won the interstellar, wrestling tournament for the past 5 millennia or whatever it is. Like this guy was known to like wrestle a black hole just for fun, and here he is dead. You're like, whoa, whoever killed him must be pretty strong. I think Thor says about 100 years ago, we passed each other in the spaceways and we waved. I knew this guy. So I know it sounds funny, but it's making it more real to him.
I went to his sister's wedding.
Exactly. It's more real to him, than
it's hitting home.
Exactly. Someone dies on the news. You're like, okay, someone died. But it's your friend. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is real,
Or David Bowie.
Oof.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me soda.
I have to be able to talk during this.
No, but the Jinx, we said the same thing at the same time. That's what
Yeah,
Jinx
but
is.
then you have to be silent till you buy the person a soda.
Oh, that's the one Jinx thing. We're just doing the Jinx, you owe me soda thing.
All right. We're going to take a break really quick. I'm going to get James a soda.
Okay. Where can this go? I don't want to throw it in your house. It makes me uncomfortable.
Throw it.
Everyone knows we're in your house now.
Throw it. If it was open, though.
ASMR. If it was open, I probably would have made it. I didn't really care. So this is really hitting him now because he knows this guy, and he goes to. There's actually people around the god praying, and he gets information from them. He's like, "Hey, how long has it been?" It says it's been 5 years, and they're just like praying for the thing to come back. Please come back. You're our savior, our God. Please come back. So it's pretty recent now. It's only been 5 years, which is a short time, I guess, for God, right? To us, it's a long time, but to him, he's like, "All right, I'm narrowing this down. I'm figuring out what it is." But he's really mad. And there's the black dogs again, the demon dogs, and
They only mess with Thor. They're not messing with the people that are.
No, it's almost like they're waiting for him. Isn't that interesting?
Why don't they start praying to the demon dogs? I don't know.
I don't know. They kind of just appear when Thor's there. That's
Okay.
kind of like the shtick. So the black dogs find him again. He fights them off, and then he's real pissed now. So he like grabs the head of one of these dogs, and he's like, "God Butcher, face me!" A little bit of that young brazen Thor feel about him.
Yeah.
Good. Cut away again. We're done with that piece. Okay. Next, we're back to 893. Okay. Thor wakes up in a bed like, oh, how long was I out? Remember the lightning strike?
Yeah.
They just blew in opposite directions. And the Vikings tending to him say like, it's been 7 days. You're out. We didn't want to move you. We didn't want to touch you. Just let you heal. And he looks pretty decent. Scraped up but not like almost dead, because gods heal faster. So he's like, nope, not sitting here. I'm going to figure out what the hell's going on. Right? Picks up his axe, goes shirtless out into the wild, and just walks. Just gets up and walks. He comes upon another person dead. God. Not dead, sorry, like bleeding out against a rock. This is, he calls himself Hinkon, Siberian god of the hunt. And Hinkon is talking to him like, he's waiting for you. Thor's like, where is he? Cave back there. If I wasn't so drunk, I might have gotten him. You shouldn't go alone. Thor's like, you're not in any place to tell me not to go alone, bud.
Harumph, good sir.
Yeah, Thor's like, I got this. I have his guardian steel. He doesn't know who he's messing with. So he starts to walk away, and Hinkon goes,
Hey, he's got Bonbon with him.
Bjorn.
Yeah, he's got Yarn Bon.
Yeah, sure, man. Whatever makes you happy.
got Bing
He
Bong.
ate some bonbons, and now he's hype.
He's got his Bing Bong axe with him.
Yeah, Bing Bong.
Yeah.
Bjorn.
Yeah.
Man, the J's in the words are tough.
Beyond Born.
Yeah, it's like Beyond Meat.
Exactly.
Just
It's
like
a vegan X.
It's a vegan X. So as he's walking away from Hinkon, Hinkon's like, hey, do me a favor. Thor's like, yeah, I got you. Kills him. Lets him,
puts him out of his
misery. Thank you. I couldn't think of the term. So he walks away and gets to the cave entrance. He's like, Butcher, I am here for you, right?
Yeah.
Round two. Fight.
Fight!
Exactly. So he goes in. Again, Gorr makes quick work of him. And he's got it's not like a traditional fight. These Ickary things grabbing him and digging into his skin and stuff. And now we cut to a Thor that's strung up, hung upside down by this Ickary stuff. And again, Gorr is taunting him, right? He's like, you're going to tell me what I want. I once tortured a god of torture. You think you can resist this? And it's pretty badass,
It's
man.
like steroids on steroids.
Yeah, Gorr is like pretty scary. You know, you're like, Jesus. You know, he's killing all these gods. We know that he's killing all these gods in the future, right? Because middle-aged Thor, I guess you'd call it now. Like the present Thor. We see all the gods he's been killing, right? And you're like, this guy must be pretty tough, right? He goes, I've killed gods of torture. The last god of torture I killed, after 30 minutes, I made him give up the location of his wife and children. You're like, oh, Jesus.
This guy's dark.
This guy's dark,
Edge
right?
Lord.
Yeah, he's tough. So he's got Thor at his like wit's end.
Edgegourd.
Edgegourd?
Yeah, because
Gory. Yeah. Sure. So he's got Thor at his
Not like
wit's end.
edge, like melon, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love melons, particularly honeydew.
Anyway.
So he's got Thor at his wit's end. And Thor's like, you know, just like looking like he's about to pass out any second. He's like, just end it, man. I'm not going to tell you anything. Just kill me. And as Gorr's about to like go like, all right, fine. You know, maybe he won't give anything up. A group of Vikings show up going, today we die for Thor, like raising their axes and spears and they're hyped.
Go,
yeah,
man.
they're ready to go. These are Vikings. They're like, yeah, this is my chance.
So it's just Mega Chad and his army of Chads?
Yeah, that's it, I guess. Vikings are Chads now. It's canon. So the Vikings are coming in. They're like, today we die for Thor, right? And they just charge Gorr. And Gorr is so pissed. He's like, what are you doing dying for a god? Clearly this very much annoys him.
Yeah.
Like people who would be like, yeah, I'd sacrifice my life for a god. He hates that. He hates it. He's to his very core. He's so angered by it. And he's picking them apart one by one, but there's a lot of Vikings. And they're just fighting back and forth. And you get this we sneak away to Thor, who breaks free. He's upside down, remember, just pulls out.
Right.
And in the tumult, Gorr doesn't hear this. And he's like yelling at them. He goes, where's Thor? And you turn to just see Thor with this with Bjorn or Bon as he like to call it. Ping pong, just hack his arm off. He hits him so friggin' hard.
Go!
Yeah, exactly. He hits him so hard that Gorr's body lifts up.
Oh, snap.
They're like the shot, and we'll pull the panel up. Gory. His arm is like mid flying off, and he's like lifted into the air by this attack. It's like a beautiful, like, you know, muscular Thor.
Snap, dude.
Right? And Gorr starts freaking out. He's like, no, this cannot happen. I've got a mission to do. I've got things I need to finish. He's like freaking out. He's like losing it.
I left the stove on.
Yeah, he's like losing his freaking mind. And then boom, explosion. And he's gone.
Who did the explosion?
No one knows. Not.
All right.
So the Vikings immediately like, great, he's dead. Let's revel. Let's tell stories. Let's drink. And Thor's like, nope, we are never talking about this day again. That's it. I don't want to talk about it.
What happens in Gorr's cave stays in Gorr's cave.
Yeah. Yes. He's like, but here's the thing that's important to know is that Thor is freaked out, man.
Yeah.
More than you've ever seen Thor. Because remember, I just told you he was about to give up. He was about to be like, just kill me, man.
Oh, yeah. Dude, what a rough day.
That's, yeah. And realize that it's just been like, well, it's actually been one day. It's probably been about like a little over a week, right? Because I told you he woke up, whatever. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. It's pretty tough. So he's seen a bunch of gods die in front of him, and then he fights this guy who's about to kill him. Basically, Thor survived because Vikings saved him.
Chads.
Which is crazy to think that the Vikings saved him, right? Because he's like their savior to a degree.
Dude.
So
the rescue of the gifts or the memes or whatever.
Yeah. So, all right, we cut to old Thor now.
I just love the idea of, is there the panel of just like the massive amount of Vikings?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
just like that in the air with their weapons and their spear, their spears.
It's way too long to do, but it's worth it. So just like.
Okay.
Makes zero sense to you, but they get it.
Okay, I'm lost.
There's visual aids for them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just Giga Chad on all the Vikings' faces.
All right, so we cut to old Thor. Remember I told you last we saw him, he was bursting through the door and it was like the sea of berserker dogs, right? So
the demon dogs.
Yeah, the demon dogs. And by the way, to be very clear, they look like they're very clearly made of the Gorr ichor, whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, it's just all black, sort of like his
I'm sure they get that, but I don't get to see the panels.
Yeah, they see the panels. So let me just pull it and show you. So Sea of Berserkers, and he goes out swinging. He just wants to die. You know, he's like, this is it. This is my last fight. I'm going out there. And he's very quickly overcome. There's like an awesome shot of it, just like his arm with Mjolnir like sinking into a sea of black. And you're like, all right, that's it. Old Thor's dead. All right, that closes the story. Except the next shot is him being carried over over their shoulders by a bunch of those demon berserker dogs. They stand up sometimes, I guess. They take like human.
They can do like tricks.
Yeah, I guess so. And they're holding them over his shoulder. Yeah, exactly.
Sit pretty.
They can't fetch Mjolnir though. It's just sitting on the battlefield as they're carrying him.
Nice.
Right?
They're not worthy.
Yeah, they're not. And he's saying at this time to himself, he's like just talking. He's like, all right, this is it. I died. I'm dying. You know, this is the end. There's going to be no songs about me. I'm in an empty Asgard, but, you know, this is what it is. I failed. And then you see the Berserkers put him down on the throne. Just sit him back in there.
Dude.
Yeah.
What a bro move.
Yeah. It's rough. And he's like, what? He like kind of comes to, like, what? What is going on? And he's just so angry, you know? But he's had the crap kicked out of him. It's like, not like he can fight too much more, but he freaking starts crawling back out to just fight them because he wants to die. It's like the end for him, you know? And he gets to the steps again, going down. He calls Mjolnir. It flies through, hits a couple of the demon berserker dogs, and he just starts going at it again. He's like, kill me. Just kill me. And that's where that part ends for him. So now we go back to present Thor, and he's flying through the air with Iron Man. And Iron Man's giving him like a little, all right, so we're triangulating on that cave that you told me about based on the coordinates you kind of gave me, and we're trying to figure it out.
Iron Man's here.
Iron Man's here.
Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's just using like...
RDJ.
Yeah, he's using some, you know, Stark tech to figure out where the cave was. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So he's trying to figure out where the cave was, right?
Stark tech.
Stark tech, exactly. So they find the cave, and Thor gets a little bit solemn. And he's like, all right, this is where it all went down last time. Iron Man's like, all right, I'm here for you. What do you need? He's like, actually, I got to do this alone, man. And what I do need you to do, though, is go warn the other gods. Start with Olympus. Let them know. Something's going on, and we're going to need help.
Iron Man, get out of the comic. It's a Thor comic.
Yeah, royalties. You got to pay for everyone.
He's like,
every
Iron
panel
Man,
he's in.
go do some stuff that's not this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Go fight some other Iron Man type people.
Go fight the Iron Man, guys. This one's my comic.
Yeah, this is my comic.
Yeah.
This is an Avengers comic. Get out of here.
You know what's funny, though? Let me tell you something.
I feel like this should have been an Avengers comic. This is like an Avengers threat, so.
It is, but not really. It's only a god threat, right?
Avengers don't
Gorr
care.
is only killing gods.
Avengers don't care about gods?
No, but you make a good point because I want to say something. There actually is a panel where Thor says, like, Tony Stark, you're actually probably one of the closest things that humans have to gods. And you're like, ooh, that's a pretty intense comment.
That's a lot of burden.
Yeah.
He's already got a huge ego. He really didn't need that.
His head actually explodes at that point. Yeah. It's just so big. He does what Gorr did to Chernobyl the Black before. Headless. Boom.
Yeah.
Done. He learned a couple things. So, all right. Iron Man flies off. Thor goes into the cave looking for some clues, trying to trace his steps back. Because remember, he thinks he killed him back then, right?
Oh, with the explosion.
Yeah, he cut his arm off and he exploded. Right? So now you're probably wondering, like, oh, why? Before you're probably wondering, like, how come he didn't realize? How come he didn't connect the dots? Obviously, this is Gorr because he's going through time. But he thinks he killed him before.
It's ghosts.
It's a Gorr ghost.
It's a Gorr ghost. What Thor's got to do is he got to find that ghost and bounce that ghost right out of there, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of Ghostbusters.
Ghost bounces.
If it helps at all for your visual,
yeah,
the dogs kind of look like the demon dog in Ghostbusters. Remember?
Rick Moranis?
Yes, it looks just like Rick Moranis. No, the dog that chases Rick Moranis. And I think goes inside
I am
him,
the keymaster. Are you the gatekeeper? And then just a bunch of Rick Moranises beating the crap out of Thor.
That's what it is. The black dogs are just a bunch of Rick Moranises. You're putting Rick Moranis' head on the two dogs. Okay. So that's canon. Oh, man. Oh, God, I hate you.
I'm so lazy. I don't want to find the popping sound, so I'm just making it myself.
That works, man. Doing the VFX or the SFX sound effects yourself.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to go into Storyblocks and license it.
Yeah. It's cheaper when you make the sound yourself.
I have a subscription. I'm just lazy.
Okay, so Thor's hunting in the cave or investigating the cave.
Yeah.
And he hears something, turns around. He thinks it's Gorr, obviously. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, Gorr. And it's just some scrawny little
He's
green.
like one of the girls from Flavor of Love, just like, I'll kill you.
Exactly. It's just some scrawny green alien with these little antennas. And he's like, no, I'm not Gorr. I'm just here to hide. I'm like, hide? Why are you here hiding? And this guy basically, in the short
Why
form,
is he in Gorr's cave? What happens in Gorr's cave stays in Gorr's cave.
That's the thing. He wants to stay there for an eternity. He doesn't want to leave.
Okay.
And what it basically sums up to Thor is like, Gorr is here. Gorr is on his mission because of you. He doesn't come back to this cave because of what happened here. You know? You set him off, dude. Everything that's happening with all these gods now, this comes back on you.
That's on you.
Yeah, he really makes it known. And this guy, he's like wide-eyed, like freaky looking. And he says like, Gorr, when he came to my planet, he killed all of the gods. But before he did that, he cut my eyelids off and made me watch it happen.
Gorr's intense.
Gorr is intense.
Like
it makes for
camping.
it makes for a very fun comic, and like the intrigue is so strong. Like,
Yeah.
who is this guy?
What's his deal?
What's the deal? We're actually getting to that very soon.
Okay.
I'll give you the Gorr backstory.
I'll settle down.
Settle it, buddy. So all right. So Thor's like, all right. Well, who are you? Why are you here? He goes, oh, I'm Shadrach. I'm god of wine and waterfalls. And you're like, all right, this guy's
What a responsibility.
yeah.
Does that taste good? Does that look good?
So that's Shadrach, god of wine and waterfalls. So it's like, all right, Shadrach, you're coming with me, buddy. We got a mission to do. And he's like, no, I want to stay here. He'll never find me here because I'll never come to the cave. Nah, you're coming with me. Let's go.
Yeah.
So boom, we fly off into the sky again. We go to Omnipotent City.
We're back.
We're back. And he wants to
Twitter
get there.
feed.
Twitter feed. Yeah, we're back to Twitter feed city. He wants to get there because he's going to investigate more in this Hall of the Lost. But when they get to the Hall of the Lost, it is aflame. And you see...
The Hall of the Lost? I'm lost.
The Hall of the Lost was
Is that
the place...
like all the canceled tweets?
No, the guys who haven't shown up in a while. The guys who didn't show to their court dates.
6 of 1. All the people banned from Twitter.
Yeah, all the people banned from Twitter. So, you know, the gods he was finding before, so he's there because he needs more info.
Just to the left of the Hall of blue check marks.
Yeah, you're so ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. So he's there to find more information. It's on fire. The berserker dogs are there with torches in their hands. For whatever reason, they're up and they've got... and they're setting the place aflame. And the librarian, the roast guy, you know, he's roasting. He's on the ground and like there's like a little bit of blood around him. He's not dead because you see the bubble like he's making some sound. And Thor's like, all right, I got to find some info. So let me get some books fast before anything burns. He's kind of ignoring the butcher dogs. Oh, sorry, the berserker dogs. So you see him just like looking through stuff. He's reading a thing, right? And then Shadrach, not wanting to die to these berserkers, is actually like fighting and smacking these things around. So Shadrach is a god, so he's got to be strong, right?
Yeah.
The fairy librarian god is like back up and just like smacking things with books and stuff. And Thor's like, all right, I got the data. The book burned in my hand, but I know where I need to go. I need to go to Chronux. I'm like, what's Chronux? Well, we'll get there in a second. So he's like, all right, Shadrach's staying with you, Mr. Librarian. Librarian's like, all right, who are you? He's like, I'm Shadrach's god of song and somersaults. And you're like, what is up with this guy?
Why is it changed now?
Because he's crazy.
Can you imagine some Earth sees like a somersault and they're just like, whoa, that's so cool. We should worship that concept.
We should praise
We
that
should make a
concept.
god of it.
Shadrach, that's him.
Nice.
For all we know, it could be waterfalls, wine, somersaults, and songs. Could be
Maybe
all of it.
more things.
Yeah, maybe
Let's
more
start
things.
with the same letter.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Ooh. This comic doesn't disappoint.
Yeah.
It's got everything.
It's got everything.
It's got God butchering. It's got wine. It's got waterfalls. It's got somersaults.
Somersaults is what I was waiting for. All right. So Thor flies away to this place, Chronux. He's talking about. So now we skip forward. No, we skip to actually Gorr at Chronux. So let me paint the picture for you. So this place is like very holy looking. All the people here, they're called like time gods, Chronux, right? And they're wearing like white robes, white and gold, you know, gold filigree, all that jazz. And they're kind of like just like talking. It's like usually we only needed like a little bit of blood because we use the god blood to travel through time and fix things. But you look and there's a big pool of blood, not a pool of blood from someone bleeding out, like a pool.
Gorr's just like, settle down, guys. It was a BOGO.
I thought I got one god's blood. I can get another one half off.
Yeah.
You know? Or BOGOs
And
get
I had a
one, buy one,
coupon.
get one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
had a
coupon for
coupon.
20% off. So,
Yeah.
so he's got this thing filled with blood. Clearly, he's trying to go somewhere very important. He's using all this god blood.
With gas prices these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Gallons of blood.
Gallons of blood. So it kind of pieces together why he needed so many gods, right? Why he killed so many, because he needs a lot of blood.
Right. Motivation.
So he's talking himself up. Oh, he says all his Gorr things, and he's Mr. Tough Guy, and he goes into the pool. Now we go 14 billion years ago. Yep, we went that far.
This guy's not a dilettante.
No, he's not.
Anything he does.
He is a professional.
He's going to time travel. He's not going to a few hours ago.
No, he's not going to kill Hitler.
He's not like, oh, I could have wound up with my high school sweetheart. He's like,
no way.
We're going 14 billion years
he's
ago.
He's not like, oh, I chose chocolate when I went out for ice cream. Yeah. Really, I was in the mood for vanilla. No, he's going to the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So when he gets there, he's just flying through random space. And you see like this fat purple baby god just like molding gods. And it's gross because he's like I don't like it. Just a fat baby that looks like it's up to mischief. And I know what a child of mischief looks like because I've got 2 right now and they're mischievous. And he's molding gods. Okay. And all the gods like are laying there like misshapen and gross, like in agony. Like he's figuring out how to make gods, but he's a baby. It's like a gross, weird concept.
I'm a little god baby.
Yeah. So Gorr's talking about what he needs from this. It's like really important that he comes here. And then we come back to Gorr coming out of the pool. Mm-hmm. And in his hand is a giant heart. So he cut the heart out of this like primordial beginning of time god. Right? And
so he got ingredients to get ingredients?
Yes.
What a life.
Yeah.
He's not a dilettante.
Ingredientception.
Yeah.
So,
ingression.
Yeah.
Ingreation.
So, this is about the time Thor shows up. He starts fighting some of the berserker dogs that are around, and Gorr's like, I got what I need. I don't need you anymore, time gods. And he just starts killing them. And he's like, all right, I don't actually remember why he comes back here. I guess he's got to come out of the pool. Yeah, he's got to come out of the pool to go back in. But he's like, hey, Thor, I'm glad that you're here. And Thor's like now grabbed by a bunch of berserker dogs. So I'm glad that you're here because you know what? You taught me the one thing I needed. That's why I came for all of this. Because from my meeting with you and those Vikings before, I realized the piece of the puzzle that was missing. Which is... Anyway, so he goes back into the pool.
Dude, not cool.
So he goes back into the pool, and Thor's like, nope, not happening. Swings his hammer, flies into the pool. We leap forward. It's now Thor in a sea of those black dogs again, fighting them. He looks to his left, and he's like, Father, what are you doing here? And old man Thor's like, I'm not your father, I'm you. They start fighting the dogs together. Okay, so now we've got to meet
what's
up.
the one thing better than a Thor comic?
A Thor comic with 3 Thors?
3 Thors?
Well, it's only 2 now, but wait for it. We'll get there.
Oh, snap.
So they're fighting him off. They're talking. He's like, I'm here for Gorr. Where is he?
This is like that Will Smith movie that sucked.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where there's 2 Will Smiths.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I didn't either. I heard it sucked.
Well, there you go.
Maybe it didn't. If you're watching, well, maybe it was good. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. So we're fighting, and he's like, where's God? Where's God? Where's Gorr? I followed him, right? I'm here for Gorr. And old man Thor's like, God, I forgot how stupid I was. It's been 900 years since Gorr was there. What was a gap of maybe a second was Gorr appeared in that spot 900 years prior to Thor coming, or Mighty Thor, or Avenger Thor coming to that same spot.
Oh, so Gorr's killed everybody.
Yeah. We got a time jump of like the time at Chronix is like a second,
Yeah.
Gorr goes in.
900
like, nope,
years pass.
900 years pass from the time they 2
Oh,
arrive in that
so
spot.
he's been like fighting this war for 900 years.
I mean, remember the Thor in the future is millennia later. So it's only 900 years in that time. But it's time. It's a long time.
A 900-year war with Asgard.
Yep.
That's the comic.
And that's where we end there. We go to what you've probably all been waiting for. Yeah. So this is what you came for. This is what you clicked on the video for. This is Gorr's backstory. This is what question I asked you right in the beginning. I said, Parker, you want to know about Gorr the God Butcher?
I do.
Boom, this is it. This is the backstory. This is why he is the way he is.
This is the meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
Meat and potatoes. Exactly.
Let's go.
So it's a nameless planet. And very specifically, we want you to know that it's a nameless planet. We don't care about it, okay? So it opens up, and it's this little boy, is gray-skinned, is clearly an alien. He says, Mom, I'm hungry. Can we eat the apple? And she's like, no, we came to get this apple specifically to give as a sacrifice to the gods, a gift to the gods for everything they do for us. Because This is how we continue our life. We give gifts to them, and they let us keep living. They help us to continue going on. He's like, all right, but I'm hungry. And, like, if we give these gifts to the gods, how come Papa died of sun fever? He's like, well, your father lived a long time. He saw you grow big and strong like you are, and he had a great life. And the sun fever took him. That's not, that has nothing to do with the gods. He's like, okay, I believe you, Mama. And she says, yes, good. You need to believe. The more you believe in the gods, the stronger you will be. You'll grow big and strong, my sweet little Gorr. And you realize this is Gorr as a child.
Dude, baby Gorr.
Sweet baby Gorr.
Sweet baby Gorr, 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Don't even speak a word of English, but still killed like 6 gods.
He doesn't speak a word of English. This is, like to us, we're looking, it's like,
yeah, okay.
So
I want more Gorr.
Okay, so Gorr says, okay, Mama. And then suddenly you hear like sounds. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? And his mother says, oh no, sand tigers. Gorr, run. Do everything you can to just continue running. Do not come back for me. And you see these like kind of green, kind of like velociraptor things like charging at the mother. She's got a spear and she's fighting him off. And you see like a little boy just running away. Okay. Time leap. Now we go to a man who's like coming into a cave. And he's got some like food in his hand. And he says like, my dear, please eat this. You need it. And it shows a pregnant woman. Mm-hmm. Again, the gray skin people.
Baby Gorr's
coming.
On the way.
Yeah. So he says, you need to eat this for, she's like, no, I'm good. The children need it. They're sleeping, but I hear their bellies rumbling. And you see like basically like a family. There's 2 children sleeping on a cave floor. And this is clearly Gorr, his pregnant wife, and his children on the floor. She says, oh, I'm okay. The baby inside, I feel he's a warrior just like you. He's never sleeps. He's always moving. He's going to be strong like his father. And a little look of pride on Gorr's face. So they step out of the cave and they're talking, and Gorr's like, man, what are we doing here? We can barely find food. I give you some worms to eat. We lick moisture off the cave walls. Like
this sucks.
This sucks. He hates his life, and it's like, it's just terrible. And she's like, no, we just got to keep believing in the gods, and then someday they'll bring us night and rainfall. And you're like, someday they'll bring us night and rainfall. You get the concept. Like
brutal, dude.
Yeah, this planet is just constant sun all the time, beating heat. They go to caves to cool down for whatever it does, right? So he's like, I don't know, man. She's like, no, you just need to put your faith in them, and they'll bring it to you. And as she says that, the cliffside cracks, and she falls into a crevice.
Dude.
The worst.
His pregnant wife?
Yeah. The heaviest.
I get it, man. The gods suck.
That's it. I mean, take it from there, you understand why he's mad.
Yeah.
Right? No one's helping him.
Right as she's like, the gods are great.
Yeah. Exactly that. Right after his mother says, the gods are great, keep believing in them. She gets taken out. Okay, good. So when we fast forward again, we just see Gorr walking with a child in his arms. And the child says, Papa, where's Mama? And he goes, your mother died 7 sandstorms ago. She's been gone a long time. And this is very clearly Gorr holding his son. And it, like delusionally speaking, you see like the talk bubbles are wavering. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. My siblings, they died to the sun fever also. Hey, when are we going to be at the forest? And Gorr says, I can see it. It's right over the horizon. We'll be there shortly, son. And he goes, oh, can I hear a waterfall? And he says, yeah, I can see it now. We'll be there shortly. It's very clearly his son dying in his arms, just walking through the desert.
Dude.
The next panel is him burying his son.
Oh my God.
Right? You understand why he hates.
This sucks.
It's the worst. And he's burying his son, and the elder comes. He's like, you cannot bury him. What our people, when they die, they must be laid out in the sun for the gods to see them, to carry them up. He's like, this is a load, man. This is bologna sandwich. No way. I'm dying. I'm burying my dead son so he doesn't get eaten by the sand tigers and just like some carcass laid out. It's not happening, man. This is what it is. And his people are mad at him. He's forsaking the gods.
This is what's happening. You can decide if we're going to be in the paper tomorrow, but this is what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, forget it, man. Not happening. And the people are mad. They start stoning him, and they exile him. They say, get out of here. Last shot here, we see Gorr just walking alone in the desert, clearly dying, the wavering voice. He's like, this is it. I'm dead. Thank goodness, because I can die. Gods don't exist, so I know I'm not going to go to some heaven and live again. I'm dead. It's over. Just end it. Right? As he's saying that, He's like crawling.
Can't even die in peace.
Boom! A big explosion next to me. He actually says, I can't even die in peace.
Dude.
He's so annoyed. This explosion, he walks over to what it is, and this is a great panel we show. It is two gods. A golden god with a spear through a black god with a sword through each other. And they're like, they're laying in the ground. He's like, oh my God, the gods are real. Oh my God, the gods are real. Oh my goodness, the gods are real. Oh my, what? And one of the gods goes, do you understand? Help me. He's like, help you? Are you serious? Help you? Like, what, are you out of your mind? After everything you did, where were you when my children were dying? Where were you when my wife fell off a cliff? Where were you when my mother was attacked by sand tigers? Get out of town, dude. He's losing it. And from the black god, this like ichor starts moving towards him, and he's like, what is this? And a knife forms in his hand made of this ichor. And what do you think he does?
He kills that god.
He butchers both
pops
of them.
his god cherry.
He butchers his first gods. And then he's sitting there, standing over the gods, and he goes, I wonder if there's more out there.
Oh, dude.
And just like the black god in this panel, you'll see, like the armor, the black armor forges around
I
him.
feel bad for anyone listening on audio, by the way, but we're trying to describe it as best we can.
Well, it's like this kind of space opera armor that forms around him, and he just flies into the sky. And now you know why Gorr is so angry with the gods. You know, I mean, a wife,
it's
kids,
heavy,
a mother.
man.
I mean, it's heavy. It's all heavy stuff. If my mother died when I knew that it's like some gods were supposed to be protecting her, my wife, my pregnant wife.
I mean, his
two
gods
kids,
suck.
His gods suck. They were just hanging out, partying, or killing each other in the sky instead of helping people.
All right. Makes sense.
That's it. Okay, so now let's leap a little bit forward. We see Gorr torturing someone. Okay? And in the communication, you know, like you get the idea that this guy's a slave, he stole some bread, and he's like, how dare you steal from me? I'm Gorr. You know? What are you god of? Now we see it's a god. And he goes, they called me whatever, the god he was. I believe it's a Norse pantheon. The name is escaping me. But it's a god. And he's like, well, this is what you get for stealing from me. And next shot is just like this god crucified looking over a field of other slaves doing some work. Now we cut again to Shadrax and the old librarian, and they're like, all right, we got to talk to the people at the city hall, let them know what's going on, what's happening here. He goes, who are you again? Shadrax is like, Shadrax, yeah, I'm god of lollipops and lemonade. He's like, like, come on, who are you? I'm Shadrax, a god of the fresh cut grass and mushrooms. And he's like, who are you? And he's like, just like railing into him like the librarian guy does. And he goes, I'm Shadrax, god of bombs. And we pan to this over the field of slaves, like working on something, this huge black sphere. And this last section is called the God Bomb.
Dude.
So the reason why Gorr kept this guy around is because he tortured him to teach him how to make a God Bomb.
Are all the slaves gods?
Yes.
They're gods he's kept alive?
We'll get there.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is the final act. Okay.
Yeah.
So now remember the two Thors are together. We got Avenger Thor.
Yeah.
And we got
Old Man Thor.
Thor, the Allfather.
Yeah.
Is the more specific.
Odinson Power Thor. Odin Power Thor.
Yes, and he does have the Odin power.
Okay.
He's got the what's it called?
Odin Force.
The Odin Force, but it's called the Thor Force in this.
Nice.
Pretty sweet, right?
Force.
No, it's the Thorse. Yeah. So I'm still commenting like this is the final act. We know what it's about. There's the Thor, the God bomb. You know, something about a bomb to kill gods. Great. So we cut back to we're with Thor, Old Man Thor, and Avenger Thor, and he's like, "All right, man, we got to prepare." Hey, by the way, real quick, I'm just trying to figure out which Thor you are. Are you the Thor that becomes like a space police guy? And he's like, what? He's like, never mind. We'll get to that later. Anyway, so he's like, it doesn't matter. Hey, remember that room where I told you, where Odin told us, Odin told us, like we weren't allowed when we were kids. Yeah, it's at the end of the hall. He's like, yeah, do me a favor. Go there. There's some stuff that you need. He's like, okay, cool. So the Thors separate. Old Man Thor goes to like graves of his children and like apologizes. You know, like, all right, well, this is the last stand. I'm doing what I can do. I'm sorry for what I brought you. And young Thor, he goes and
Normal
finds,
Thor.
Sorry, normal
Avengers
Thor.
Thor.
Sorry, Avengers Thor, because it's old and young together there. But yeah, Avengers Thor gets to this secret door that he's been told not to get to. He opens it. And it's just kegs forever. It's just an endless thing of meat. And Thor's like, oh, okay. This is what I'm here for. So they load up this like space ship. So like a Viking long ship, but for space. They load it up with meat and they grab some weapons. They're like, all right, let's go. And they just ride the cosmic waves as fast as they can to this place because they've figured out where they have to go. Okay.
Okay.
For Gorr's like planet where he's building this bomb. Okay. So now we cut to a young Thor laying in a bed full of women after he believes he just killed Gorr, and he hears something outside. He's like, what's going on? He goes outside. Berserker dog got a crystal in his hand, throws it at his feet, and he disappears. And we get this is like a blood crystal that teleports him. Boom, young Thor appears.
So Gorr wants them all together.
No, Gorr wants young Thor because young Thor's the one who did the thing. Cut his arm off.
They're all the same guy, man.
Yes, but
Get
that's
over it.
that's the time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Remember, Shadrach told Avenger Thor this is because of what you did in this cave, right? So it's only a couple days later. Berserker dog comes, throws the thing in his feet, and we have young Thor teleported to this planet. That's the one he wanted to bring. This is the one he's really mad at the most.
Yeah.
And this Thor just basically
But he's not missing an arm anymore.
He is. This Gorr is missing an arm, but it's sorry if that wasn't clear, and I didn't say this, but it's like a black ichor arm. If that wasn't a thing. Oh. So at this point, yeah, it's like he can
quit harping on it, man. Get over it.
He's got the black ichor. What's the big deal, man? Just recreate your arm.
Yeah.
Old man Thor's missing an arm too, but it's
you don't see him whining about it.
He's like, it's great.
He's more upset that you killed his whole family.
Exactly. Much more upset. Okay, so this Thor gets turned into a slave, and he's like making him work, and Gorr's like, this is it, man. This is the thing. You're gonna drive the last nail into this bomb, whatever the thing is. He wants this Thor to be the final piece of the puzzle. And you meet something very fun here. So there's these three women who are Thor falls over at one part. They're like, get up. You're causing us more problems than anything. Stop, talking about how you're gonna kick everyone's butt. You're gonna get crucified up there. And you see three girls. It's later revealed to be that they're his grandchildren. They are the three goddesses of thunder, thousands of years in the future. Just a fun little thing. So not all gods are
But they
dead.
don't recognize him?
No, because he's young. He's
they didn't
like
see pictures of him when he was hanging out in high school.
They don't got photography in Asgard, man.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
They know what their dad looks like, and he looks like more rugged and old,
yeah.
right? And this Thor is shaven.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they've met these three girls, right? And later, after the work is done for the day, I guess they get some break at night. They got to sleep. You can't not let them sleep. They're like in a cave at night. And there's a bunch of different gods. It's really fun. There's like all these there's a cat god and a sheep god and like blue ones, gray ones. All these clearly it's just a bunch of gods from different planets. And they're like, all right, guys, this is our last hurrah because tomorrow the bomb is done. We got this thing and we can try, but we need to make a plan. And Thor's like, I'm your god for this. I got it. They're like, yo, chill, bro. Come on, Chad.
Stop being such a mega Chad.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I got it. And they reveal that they've got this crystal that's some sort of bomb. Okay?
Bombs within bombs.
Bombs on bombs on bombs. And they're like, all right, so we got to make a plan because the second we start running, the berserkers will take us over. And, it's going to be tough. And they're like, where's Thor? And then we just get young Thor.
Leroy Jenkins.
Literal Leroy Jenkins, like football holding this thing under his arm, just sprinting at this bomb with the crystal in his hand, right? And he's running, gets through the berserkers, gets to the bomb and hits it, and there's a big explosion. Okay, I'm going to cut to something real quick. Now we get Gorr coming to bed for the night because at the same time they're having this meeting, he's going to bed for the night. And there's a woman in bed. She calls him my love. And you get that there's a woman in his life again, right? And she's praising him. She's like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens after this is all done. Wow, everything you've done, I mean, it's incredible. You are so amazing. I can't wait to see a world without gods. He's like, yeah, we'll get there. He's just not fully convinced of it, but he knows that tomorrow's like the final thing. So let's cut to the middle-aged and old Thor, Avenger Thor and Old Man Thor. And they're on the ship. And suddenly they're like getting close, and they're like, they see in the spaceways just like chunks of God, right? And space sharks eating the chunks of God. Real thing. They're like glowing green sharks eating the chunks of God around the planet. Like, like Gorr killed them and threw them out into space and just be chunky.
Okay.
Right?
Just
so they're flying through like
soup.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh my God, that space shark's coming at us, right? So the shark comes, one Thor hits it, and then on the deck of the ship lands young Thor. Like the explosion went off, and he got blown into space and landed on the ship with the other two.
Quite literal divine intervention.
Yes. Yes. So all three are together now. And they're like, oh. All right, I guess you're
me.
Yes.
They're both like that me.
Exactly. They're like, ugh, that version. All right, I guess it'll be helpful. And he looks at both of them and is like, you have Mjolnir? What the hell, man? I want one too. They like find him a hammer. It's a long one, like a war hammer, like a maul or whatever you want to call it. A mace or not. A big old war hammer. And they're like, they get prepped. They know they're close. They're about to come down to fight. Okay? So now we get to this part where they're coming towards it, and they're like, all right, let's make a plan. And the second they get close, what do you think happens? Young Thor's like, yeah, plan. Just jumps off the ship and starts like flying at Gorr. Okay? They're fighting. It's like a crazy all-out wacko fight. Just 3 Thors, 2 with Mjolnirs, fighting him in the air, in the spaceways. And Odin Thor, so like Old Man Thor, right?
Yeah.
With the Thor Force. He's like, all right, boys, this is our shot. And he goes boom and shoots the Thor Force at him. And this guy goes flying like they make note that it's like cosmos away. They shoot him so hard, but he's still tough and he's holding on. But he's like, oh God, that was bad. And he starts like to, I guess, mentally communicate with his Berserker dogs. Like, I'm going to need some more power. Start killing the gods.
He gets got power from killing more gods.
Yes. And this is where that reveal. Okay.
Oh God.
So, they start killing gods. You see it, and then there's actually, I think there's a little shot of like the wife and the son, because he's apparently got a son now too. I forgot to mention that. And they're like, "Oh, look, it's happening. We're getting really close." And the boy's like, "Dad's great, hooray!" So gods are being killed. They catch up to him, and they start again just fighting him in space. And then Thor, the Avenger, looks at the planet and goes, "That's not good." He sees it's cracking apart. So in the middle of the fight, he goes down, saves the planet from like cracking, like it's like a volcanic eruption. And it's like, and on that day, a planet far out in space, in the corner of space, started praising Thor. And it gives you an idea, like he started getting he got a little more strength from that. He didn't do it for the strength. He did it because he's Thor. It's the right thing to do. But you see how like the people praising the gods give them power, but the gods dying give Gorr power, right?
Yeah.
So big epic battle, and Thor's like growing. Gorr is growing in strength. And then we cut to a scene of like blood in the sky just dropping. And then you see all 3 Thors like defeated, like flying through the air. Gorr's winning. Okay? The Mjolnirs are not in their hands. They're just laying on the ground. Gorr's got young Thor by the hair just dragging him towards the God Bomb. He's like, this is it. This is the moment. This is what I've been waiting for. And he's like shoving his face into like this like pool of blood. It's like kind of like a sphere of blood, like trying to get some last blood. And young Thor's like, dude, give it a break, all right? I'm Thor. You can't do this. But he's about to go down, okay? And Thor actually jumps up, bites Gorr's eye out.
Bites his eye out.
Gorr's like, what is going on? This cannot be real right now. And he gets even madder. He shoves his face in it and activates the bomb with the last bit of blood. Okay? So, all over the universe, gods are dying. And you see that by like Icar flying up them, right? And Gorr's wife is like, yes, you did it. You're the best. You are my god. And Gorr's like, what did you call me? You're my god. Look how amazing you are. Kills his wife. You're not going to call me god. Just like sword through her stomach.
Why even get married, man?
Because I guess
if the slightest thing sets you off, go
but
to couples
calling
therapy.
Gorr a god. Come on, man.
just get some help. Talk to some friends, you know?
Calling Gorr a god is the worst thing you could call him.
I got it, but if my wife called me some outlandish thing, I wouldn't be like, she was like, "You're a Nazi." I'd be like, "Well, we should discuss that."
Sure. Not Gorr, man. He's angry as all heck.
Okay.
He's mad. Kills his wife. Forget about it. Forget about it. So as all this is happening, the gods are dying. His wife calls him a god. He kills her. Thor, the Avenger, is like...
How's he still alive? Isn't young Thor dead?
Dying. They're all dying, right? He's like mustering what he can of his final strength to just be like, let me try to do something. He calls both Mjolnirs, his and old Thor's, and he just starts pummeling at the bomb at the center of it. You know, there's kind of like a center, like blood pool to this bomb. And he's just pummeling it, doing everything he can. You see the ichor flying up and like, and Gorr's like, how is this happening? What in God's name is going on? And old Thor's like, he's dying like a god. He's doing everything he can, which is what a god would do. And he's hammering. And he friggin' destroys the bomb. He gets it.
Blows up the bomb itself.
He blows up the bomb. I mean, it's not necessarily a bomb in the sense of a bomb that blows up.
It's like an EMP.
Yeah, it's just like this sweet double hammer slam into each other. And the bomb blows. And Gorr's like, what is going on? Right? And his son comes up to him and goes, looks like there it is. Gorr, the god of hypocrisy. After all, he turned out a god. His son's kind of like a dick to him after he sees what happened to his mother. Gorr, the god of hypocrisy. Right? We pan over to Thor. Now, not dying anymore, but his body is all black. Like up to his mouth. 2 Mjolnirs covered in black. And he says, now I know what this was. This is a god's weapon. And yes, it was meant to kill gods, but it was also meant to be wielded by a god. And he goes over to Gorr, double hammer slams him.
Does he not have the... Gorr doesn't have the power anymore?
No, it's gone.
What happened to it?
It's on Thor now.
It just moved?
It just was like, oh, this guy's pretty sick. He just took out the bomb.
This guy's sicker than Gorr's been for the last 3,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah, 3,000 years. It's been that long. I mean, more, right? Because it's 3,000 years and then a millennia forward.
Okay. So
I mean, imagine how badass Thor is, proving that, like, he's dying, but he's still doing everything he can to save everyone.
Yeah.
Right? He gives him a double hammer smash. Gorr's gonzo.
Done.
Now, Thor, with this thing on him, I think he calls out, like, this weapon is called All Black, the Necro weapon. Mm-hmm. But after that, it's like killing him.
Yeah.
It's like, it's too much, right? And he actually just dies. Yep, I just said it like that. He just dies. And it says, and at that point, Thor died for the 9th time.
The 9th time?
Yeah, you know stories. How many times has Thor died?
Oh, yeah, he has died quite a bit. He was dead in Civil War.
That's right. So, you know, at this point, it's all lolly jolly God stuff. I mean, the story has wrapped up.
Yeah.
Right?
Does Old Man Thor, is the timeline, how does that work with the timelines?
So
Also,
they all
is
went,
all of Old Man Thor's guys still dead, or did they prevent that, or?
No, all the gods that were on this planet are fine now, who didn't die yet, who were dying from the god bomb.
Like, did they save a future from happening or undo anything?
They don't go over all that.
How much of Endgame is in this? How much resetting
They don't
occurs?
go back and reset everything. But everyone that was on that planet who Gorr didn't kill but brought to be a slave.
Oh, he didn't
because that's
kill
the
all
thing.
the
Remember I said Gorr said to him, like, oh, I realized the one thing I needed. Slaves. He didn't say slaves before, but that's what he needed. Because to him, the Vikings protecting Thor were slaves. Because that's all he could see it as.
Oh, yeah.
So he needed the people to do the work
There's no such
for
thing
him.
as a good god.
No, of course not. Of course. So we end up back in Asgard. Thor the Avenger wakes up and he's like, oh, how am I alive? And Odin Thor is like, yeah, I brought you back to life. Easy peasy.
How is Odin Thor still alive if his younger self died?
Man, I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't write the comic, okay? It's not like that. Remember how they said it? It's not like Back to the Future. Didn't you watch Endgame? It's not like Back to the Future.
Okay.
It's just another timeline that exists, okay? Leave me alone. I didn't write it. I can't think of everything.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway, this is basically the wrap up, man. I mean, it's like they're gods. All of them come back to Asgard. All the gods are on that planet, and Odin, Thor, or old Thor, is like, oh yeah, people can stay if they want. They can go back to their home planets, help out, but we all learned a lesson. Be good gods. It's kind of lame to end on that, but that's kind of like
it's just a very happy-go-lucky sunset, walking into the sunset.
That's how it ends. It's a walk into the sunset. Like they saved the gods they could. They go back to their planets. They learned their lesson. You're like, do help your planets. It's a heavy lesson to learn for all those people or gods dying, but that's it. You've learned the story of Gorr the God Butcher. How much of it will be like that in the movie, we don't know. It's not out yet, but
that's who Gorr was.
That's who Gorr was.
Snap, dude.
It is a very like...
It's heavy.
It's heavy. It is a very quick ending because it's just like Thor does the thing.
It's also kind of a waste of a villain that feels like cool. I feel like they really didn't expect that villain to be that cool.
No way. They knew it. They knew how badass he'd be, for sure.
But then they just killed him.
Well, yeah.
But I guess it's comics. No one stays dead except for Bucky Barnes and Uncle Ben. And now Bucky Barnes is back alive.
Yeah. That's what it is, man. Questions you have from it? Q&A section?
Honestly... No, I mean, I'm not going to get my timeline questions answered.
Yeah, for sure.
If this, then this.
What was Shadrach really the god of? I guess I told you
bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I wish
to
me,
me,
it's canon with lollipops and somersaults.
Lollipops and lemonade. Somersaults and song.
Yeah.
I got to get like a...
The somersaults one's definitely the best.
Yeah, that's easily the best. Yeah. Waterfalls and wine. Yeah, there's gods like that. There's like Bacchus, right?
Yeah, Bacchus, Dionysus.
Yeah, same god. Yeah. Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but somersaults. Someone seeing a somersault and just being like, that's worthy of worship.
That's it.
Not even a cartwheel.
God, a somersault. Holy moly, I got to worship that.
Yeah.
Someone deify that, please.
Anyway,